Welcome to KRA's The Hub, the official podcast of KRA Corporation. And now get ready to hear workforce topics and trends you need to know on the go.
Welcome back to The Hub, KRA's The Hub podcast. Here, Jonathan Overall, the host of The Hub. And I'm joined today by a special guest. We are going through a series honoring and recognizing National Women's History Month and highlighting women leaders in workforce development. And today I am joined by Melissa Robbins, the Chief Executive Officer of the National Association of Workforce Development Professionals, also known as NAHDAP. Melissa, welcome to the Hub.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I know we had a chance last year at NAWDP to record for the Hub, but it's great to have you back here. Melissa, KRA has been a partner with NAHDAP for years. We've typically partnered with some of the national conferences, the annual conference, the youth conference. We just had a cohort of case managers and career coaches that went through the case management training. But for our audience, I know NAHDAP is an organization that is focused on the professional development of professionals within workforce development. Describe for us your role as the Chief Executive Officer for NAHDAP, which is a national workforce organization.
Yeah, so real quick, in case there's somebody that's not familiar with NAHDAP, NAHDAP is a national membership association. We represent frontline professionals and really professionals through the entire workforce space. So a lot of times we might have members who are funded by a particular funding stream, WIOA, or a particular partner. But really, regardless of where you're at in that workforce space, NAHDAP is an association for you. My role as the leader of NAHDAP, honestly, to put it simply, Jonathan, is probably equipping the team and getting out of the way. I think that's probably my most important job. The NAHDAP team that I work with is amazing. Each of them have very unique skills and experiences. Them coming from workforce or outside of workforce, their history, just each one of them is very unique. So I think that my job for NAHDAP is to build the best possible team and then make sure that they have the tools, resources, everything that they need to get the job done.
That's great. Yeah, thank you for that overview. And I think the simplicity too of your approach of equipping your leaders. Leadership is not easy. And I'm sure there are stories, examples of that in your career. Are there any of note, any potential challenges that you had to work through in your career? And how did you navigate through those challenges to where you are today?
Yeah, absolutely. I think moving from the local level to the national level was a big step. So my career path started, I do accounting by trade. That's how I got into workforce development. I was, my first job in workforce development was a fiscal assistant. And here I am today. I have the privilege of leading this national association. So that local to national step was huge. My job now consists of meeting new people and speaking to people every day. That is not a part of your job description normally when you're on the fiscal side of the house. And so those things at one point in my career made me very uncomfortable. They were very, very challenging for me. But, there's a saying that if you're comfortable, you're probably not growing. And I kind of embraced that. And also just trusting my strength. So not trying to be someone or something that I'm not. Somebody saw something in me to get me to each level of where I've been. And really just relying on that and doing that job, albeit sometimes uncomfortable in the beginning. But I think that really helped me make that leap.
That's great. Now, the world of work is always changing. We've seen that in the last several years, a world that was remote in workforce, and that impacted workforce development as well. Now, when it comes to innovative strategies or your approach to leadership, What have you embraced to help lead through that change? An organization that continues to drive forward and that is continually inclusive.
Yeah, so I don't know that, I mean, technically it's innovative. I come from a sports family, so I think preparing and playing offense is super important, attacking the challenges, um, being ready to pivot, not not having to react as much to the challenges. I think that one of the things that hinders progress for any organization or any person, any leader, is constantly being on your heels or putting out fires. So I think the more prepared that you can be, the more offensive you can be in your approach is super important. And also I think embracing kind of that in industry inclusiveness is there's not only one way to do great things. So relying on, again, going back to that team, right? Relying on their skills and their inputs. Everybody sees things from a different perspective, and using that as an asset to make your team stronger, to be ready to anticipate those challenges, being ready to pivot, because things that have affected workforce development, there's not one right answer, right? So it's not, oh, we can't go this direction anymore. We have to go another direction. That direction's not always specified. So again, I think being able to utilize the people that are around you, their thoughts, their experiences, but overall being prepared as much as possible.
When I think about personal growth, professional development, mentorship is one of the key relationships and one of the key words that I think about in talking to different leaders. As a woman in leadership and working in workforce development, who were some of the key mentors in your journey, and how did they help to shape your path on your journey?
Yeah. So I think that regardless, male, female, like women, men, doesn't matter. I've been very fortunate to have leaders in my past that have supported my professional development and have promoted a healthy work-life balance. Two women leaders that come to mind would be Tana Holder. Tana was the executive director of the local workforce board when I first started there as a fiscal assistant. And she was insistent that I learned more than just the fiscal side of the house, to learn the program side of the house, to participate as much as possible in local, state, and national events to find out what was going on in workforce, not just in our area. What were the great things that were happening all around the country? And that, I was very grateful that she was so supportive of that. And that really opened my eyes to, if I was a leader, how would I want to be? And the way that she led motivated and molded a lot of that. And then, maybe a name that some of your listeners would be familiar with is Marianne Lawrence. So Marianne has been in the workforce development field for a long time. She happens to have been the chair of the NAHDAP board when I started as the CEO of NAHDAP. And again, she was very supportive of that ongoing professional development, that ongoing growth. And quite frankly, probably took a chance on a lady in Missouri that wanted to make that leap to the national level. And so she knew that there were things that I wasn't 100% comfortable with, and really gave me ways, gave me strategies, and mentored me in some of those to keep going. Keep going. It'll come. It'll become more comfortable. So I was very, very appreciative of that. And then I think one of the most important things, though, that they did and that I want to do is they really promoted a healthy work-life balance. So they were not the kind of leaders or bosses per se that would call me all hours of the night. Definitely when things need to be addressed and there's emergencies, we need to address those head on when they happen. But for the most part, we really tried to keep that. Here's when we're working, and here's when we're doing other stuff outside of work, and supporting that. So that's something that I think is really important with my staff as well.
That's good. And work-life balance is such a big topic these days, and really the intersection of mental health. And where we had a guest on last year who coined the term work-life harmony, and finding the harmony and rhythm in life. And so thank you for bringing that up, because I think it's such an important part for people at every level, and creating boundaries for that. Have there been any personal areas that you have been able to, or practical areas where you've been able to establish those boundaries? I know you talked about the culture of the workplace itself, but any that have been a key part of your personal journey in maintaining that mental health and that work-life harmony?
Yeah. I happen to be married. I've got 3 boys. They were very active kids. So, I'm at a basketball game probably most nights. And that's something that's important to me just as much as, my job or what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. Early in my career and to this day, but I volunteered and I spent a lot of hours outside of my normal job. So when I was at the local level in Missouri, I volunteered with the Missouri Association of Workforce Development. And those volunteer opportunities did mean time away from my family. Again, I was very fortunate that they were very supportive of that, and they kind of saw the light at the end of the tunnel with me, that those volunteer opportunities may lead to some of the work opportunities that I have now. But at the end of the day, I wanted to be the best that I could be at my job. And I also wanted to be the best that I could be at home with my particular family. I didn't want to sacrifice one or the other. And so I travel a lot in my position now. I've kind of always been in a position where I've traveled a lot. If you ever run into me at an airport, you'll probably see me there very early or very late. And that's just something that internally, if I go somewhere to represent NAHDAP, I do that. I do that to the best of my ability. And when that is done, I don't waste any time getting back home. And so for me personally, it was a sacrifice of my time. I might drive late. I might fly early, but I wanted to be present in both positions as much as possible. But I think having a supportive network, the friends and family, whether it's your work family or your home family, having them be supportive of your journey is super important.
That's great. Now, Melissa, you talked about your transition from the role that you had in the finance world to getting out and developing the partnerships and relationships at a national level, and had a broader approach. For those that are looking to grow in leadership and workforce development, what additional skills would you say that are essential to cultivate as someone is aspiring to grow in leadership?
I'm going to go back to trusting your strengths, trusting the things that make you unique. I think being a woman in workforce development doesn't make me any more or less qualified than anybody else, but my skills and abilities qualify what I do on a daily basis. And those are different. What I can do is different than anybody else, right? We're all so unique. I think that it's imperative that you never stop learning, that you never stop working on ways to improve yourself. Success is different for everyone. All of us have varied goals. So it's important to work on the things that support you on your particular path, but you can't ever stop. You can't ever stop learning. You can't ever stop trying to improve on yourself. So I don't think there's one particular path. I don't think that there's one particular skill set, but I think when it comes to that mindset is, what are your goals? Where do you want to be? And don't ever stop working on that.
Looking ahead, what would you say is your vision for the future of workforce leadership? And how can we collectively support and uplift the next generation of women leaders in this space?
Yeah, so I think the next generation of workforce leaders, the most important thing is probably that they're ready for anything, to be ready for anything. And so again, kind of empowering those around you and empowering those future leaders, giving them the opportunity to go out there and make a difference is really important. Supporting their goals through professional development and mentorship. We all learn in different ways, but having that mentor that you can call or text or send an email to and say, hey, listen, this is a situation that I'm going through, and just get what their perspective is. And we can do that for future leaders as well. Most of us can think of somebody who has mentored us and made a difference. Being that for somebody else is super important. Going back to that work-life balance, that mental health, prioritize that. We know that we liked when it was prioritized for us. Make sure that you're prioritizing it for everybody else. So yeah, I think that uplifting the next generation of women leaders in this space is really done through mentorship and empowering that professional development and learning.
I think those are two keys that we can walk away with here. Melissa, thank you for sharing insights of your journey, but also what you do in your role as the CEO of NAHDAP, a national organization that is developing professionals, developing leaders, inclusivity in the workplace, and insights into your life too, what it looks like to balance out family and career in this space. Now, before we close, for our audience that is listening here today and in the future, what are some initiatives that you want the audience to pay attention to that NAHDAP is working on now and perhaps going forward in the near future?
Yeah. So, NAHDAP is definitely focused on the professional development and providing the tools and resources that workforce development staff need. We're also definitely watching and advocating for workforce development as an industry with the new administration at the federal level. We want to make sure that everybody is aware of what's going on and how they can impact change. Again, whether that's at the federal level, the state level, the local level, but not overall. We just want to make sure that our members in the industry have those tools and resources, have that professional development available to them. I would say, like you mentioned, KRA just had a cohort go through one of our virtual academies. There's definitely online learning that's available. There's free online learning that's available through NAHDAP and other organizations. We have our annual conference coming up. So, be involved at whatever level you can be involved. If you can join us at a conference, that's fantastic. If you can join us in the online community, maybe we can find you a mentor there. Just get involved. And there's a whole network of people out there willing and able to help you do your job better.
That's great. Again, Melissa, thank you for your time today. I look forward to the continued partnership. I know KRA, as well as NAHDAP and all of our audience out there with that call to action. I know just attending the annual conferences and the youth conferences, I've seen how it's grown over the years. The first conference I went to, even post-pandemic, I believe that the impact and the influence of NAHDAP is growing as well. And the website and social media, are there specific ways that we can follow on there as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can follow NAHDAP on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. There's a ton of free resources on YouTube. You can go to our website and find all of the different ways, to get involved. You can reach out to any of us personally. Our contact information is on the website as well. We would love to engage with you. It's been super great, Jonathan. I'm so thankful that you guys allowed me to be a part of this. I know KRA has been a great partner of NAHDAP for a long time, especially in this area. When I think of great leaders in workforce development, a lot of them have KRA behind their names. A lot of them are women. And so, I think that this is just a really timely conversation and really grateful for what you guys do.
Thank you, Melissa. And we'll have to have you on again sometime in the future.
Thank you for listening to KRA's The Hub. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. To learn more about KRA Corporation, visit www.kra.com. Thanks so much for listening. And we'll be back soon with a new episode.